So, if you are a bad Uber passenger and your star grade goes below a certain amount, Uber will finally deactivate you. Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and hallelujah, God Almighty above, Uber is finally doing something that drivers have been asking for since this service pretty much began. And that is to deactivate riders with lower than acceptable star grades. Now, if you're a driver, and maybe even if you're a passenger, you know very well that there is a high standard that must be met in Uber's eyes. I mean, not car quality or anything like that. I mean, they really don't care about those things anymore. I mean, they've dropped the price to a certain point. However, they do want you to hold your star grading system above a 4.6 or risk being deactivated. Now, for a while, they were considering replacing that antiquated star rating with a more driver-friendly rating system where it was either a smiley face, a neutral face, or a frowny face. I thought that would have made a lot more sense. Never went anywhere. We still have the star ratings. And drivers are unfairly deactivated from this all the time. However, Uber shocked everyone with this story, where they are going to ban passengers with low ratings. Quote, respect is a two-way street. I, of course, applaud Uber for doing this wholeheartedly. However, I do so with cynicism, of course, because what would the Apptrepreneur channel be if I didn't have a little bit of cynicism? But I have been talking about this company long enough, making enough videos, demanding something like this happen for a long time, that I basically know what's going on and why they're doing it, and it's for anything but altruistic reasons, or even that's the right thing to do. So here's the article. Uber, an American multinational transportation network company, has moved to ban passengers with low ratings from using their ride-sharing and hailing app. The company announced on Tuesday that riders with significantly below average ratings could face losing access to Uber services. Previously, only drivers with low ratings were at risk of being dropped by the app, which has resulted in customers being able to influence the ones who are able to remain working. Quote, respect is a two-way street, and so is accountability. Drivers have long been expected to meet a minimum rating threshold, which can vary city to city, Kate Parker, the company's head of safety, brand, and initiatives, said in a statement. While we expect only a small number of riders to ultimately be impacted by ratings-based deactivations, it's the right thing to do. Now, here's the thing. Before we continue on this is not a very long article, but the video will probably be long because I have a lot to say about this one. It should be noted that Uber's stance has always been on the on the passenger side, that if your star grade fell below a certain amount, you may be subject to discipline. They've always said that. Now, they have rarely acted upon it because customers are the ones with the credit cards and they have the bills. Even though Uber claims that drivers are their customers, they really cater to the rider. So it wasn't really enforced very well unless it was an extreme case or got national news. So in a sense, this policy has been around, but Uber has basically enforced it so little that this is why it stands out, that they are basically outright saying they will now deactivate you. Now, what is that minimum rating? I don't know. Personally, I think it should be 4.6, maybe 4.4, but it shouldn't be that much different from a driver rating. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what the star grade threshold cutout is, and I will make a follow-up video when I find out, and I will, in my opinion, say if that is fair or not. Because here's the thing, if you make it as low as 3.0, like if your star grade falls below 3.0, that's kind of a rarity in the first place. So, I mean, at that point, yeah, that's a very, very bad rider, but it's unlikely to happen. It just is. Now, I do remember one time when I first started doing this, getting a call from an Uber, and it had a 1 star. I mean, I didn't pick them up, but in hindsight, I almost want to see what a 1-star Uber passenger looked like. Although, considering what some of the 3.8-star Uber passengers look like, maybe I saved myself a huge hassle. Let's continue. The new policy will first be rolled out across the US and Canada. It is unclear whether Uber has plans to expand the rule globally if successful. If a rider's rating falls below the minimum threshold, they will receive tips on how to improve their ratings, such as encouraging polite behavior, avoiding leaving trash in the vehicle, and avoiding requests for drivers to exceed the speed limit, Parker explained. Riders will have several opportunities to improve their rating prior to losing access to the Uber apps, which is something that most drivers do not have. Once a passenger is removed from the app, the ban will last for an indefinite period of time. So it pretty much means it's going to last forever, but they could bring you back. All users who sign up for the Uber account is required to follow the company's community guidelines, which includes 3 standards of behavior: treat everyone with respect, help keep one another safe, and following the law. Parker announced on Tuesday that Uber will be launching a campaign to educate both drivers and riders about these guidelines. They've already made a video about that. I might comment on it later. We want every Uber experience to be a great one, she said. By educating customers and partners about the community guidelines, asking them to confirm they understand, and holding everyone accountable, we can help Uber be welcoming and safe for all. Again, there is more to this. According to Business Insider, Uber's San Francisco office sent a document to all drivers, also called partners, in 2014, setting out the minimum average rating and how those teetering on the edge could boost their ratings. The guide listed 4.6 out of 5 as the threshold for drivers to meet, and any with average ratings below that figure would be at risk of being kicked off the platform. So, yeah, we already know that. So anyway, why not? Let's leave on that. So again, this is a good thing. This is absolutely a good thing. The question I asked, and this is why I wasn't too terribly sorry that I'm getting to this late. I know that other UberTubers have already talked about this. I'm glad I'm talking about this late, because I really wanted to think about, why are they doing this? Why now? They've been around for years, and this has been a huge problem. It's not like this is a small thing. We've known that there are bad passengers for a long, long time, and Uber has consistently refused not to do anything about them. So what happened now that is making Uber take notice and actually do something? Well, 2 things actually happened, and I think you know what they are, but just in case you don't, they had that video where the Lyft driver got attacked recently, and they were in the headlines all over that Uber drivers are basically in danger. Now, granted, that was a Lyft driver. It was a Lyft driver. Let's be real. It highlighted, though, that it's still a dangerous job, and the question, how does someone like that even get on the platform in the first place? So there's all the uncertainty. And the second thing is Uber went public and their stock is being hammered. And it's being hampered because they're not profitable. They're in the hole. They're probably I predict they're going to report a loss of $1.2 billion later today, and we'll do a video about that tomorrow, maybe, or maybe I'll do a live stream tonight, who knows. So, there's a lot of problems with that. And then there's the strikes and protests, where the drivers, one of their complaints is that they aren't safe. So you have a story where a Lyft driver is just whammed in his own car. Uber's like, hey, we got to get ahead of this. So they are now announcing we will deactivate riders with low ratings. Now, again, I don't see them actually listing what the ratings are. They're probably going to try to keep that a secret as long as they possibly can, because the last thing they want to do is deactivate too many passengers. I'll even play fair with Uber. 4.0 or above, they can stay on. 4.0 or lower, they're off. Cut them off. I don't think they should be on there. So, I don't know. I think it's going to be much lower than that. I think realistically, Uber's going to keep a 2.5 or 3.5. They'll certainly still hold the drivers to a much higher standard. And complaints about SE-actual complaints, like Dark Road Run's friend, whose video I watched, they will probably continue to be ignored because that's what Uber does. I've talked about this a lot. I've called for this for years. It's kind of bittersweet to see them finally doing it, and they're doing it for personal reasons. They say this is just the right thing to do. It was the right thing to do 8 years ago, or whenever you launched. It feels like pandering. It actually almost feels like this wasn't hey, we've decided to finally do the right thing. This felt like, well, I guess we're going to do the right thing because we're in trouble. Our stock is doing bad and people don't trust us. We better do something to bring trust back. So going public might actually be one of the best things to happen to drivers and passengers, because it forces Uber to basically respond to complaints. And if they don't do it, they've got a publicly traded stock that could suffer if they show that they are indifferent towards everyone's plight. So who knows? Going public might have been the best thing to ever happen to drivers. We're going to have to wait and see how that works. Either way, I'm happy they're doing it. It's just really frustrating. Because for years I've been calling for them to change the rating, for them to... So many things, so many people have been asking. This was not an isolated incident. Drivers have been asking for this for years, and they just didn't want to do it because they didn't care. Now that they're publicly traded, they care. That's why they're doing it. And I think that's pretty much where we're going to end that conversation. So anyway, as always, I want to know what you have to think about this. Please let me know in the comments below. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I knew there was something I was forgetting. And let's actually get out of the full screen. Let's do this one man to man on this one, because I can right now see the Uber passengers. Their blood's boiling right now when they read a story like this. It's boiling because it's like, well, but what if I'm a good gentleman? Like here's the thing. I find myself to be a nice person. I'm respectful. I do this, I do that. And yet when I look at my star grading, it's 4.8. You mean if it falls below a certain thing, I lose access to the service forever, and I don't know who's rating me or why they're rating me that way? I mean, that doesn't seem fair. Like my opportunity to use Uber is in the hands of people I don't know. How is that fair? Gee, you know what? I wish I could relate. I have no idea what it feels like to have your access to a platform that you rely on a daily basis, sometimes for very important things, could be at the mercy of complete strangers who will rate 2, 3, 4 stars on whims, like hypothetically, like they don't have water or something, or they played music they didn't like. I have no idea what that feels like. So sorry, just can't relate. Anyway, now what do you say, folks? I would love to know. Comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, of course, but even as little as $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly and to get access to my Patreon exclusive blog. Also, if gas prices are getting you a little blue, check out the GetUpside app below. It's totally free, and you get cash back on every gas purchase. Check it out. A lot of my viewers have already done so, and they are making bank back. Also, check out the Apptrepreneur Vlogs channel. There's new stories almost on a daily basis. And finally, if you want to talk to me or anyone else, check out the Apptrepreneur Hangouts on Facebook. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.